Welcome. We're live. Gonna wait a minute. See, people wait for people to tune in and stuff. But yeah, we're doing something different today. We're not gaming. Do I need disco for a minute? Probably. Mute that for a minute. Oh, there we go. Oh, now I can still hear it, but you can't. Okay. Yeah, we're doing something different today. I had planned to do this for a little while, and we're actually gonna do it. If you can't tell, my camera looks a little bit worse. Actually, it looks better on the camera itself. I don't know why it looks so bad right now. Either way, I forgot to mute my monitoring of my microphone. I need to do that real quick. Oh, wrong setting. The monitor off. There we go. Now I'm not hearing myself. Oops. Yeah, well, we're gonna be doing something different today, and it has to do with computers. Probably not everyone knows I'm a computer person. I'm an IT guy. I'm sure you've heard me say it before if you've ever been here, but yeah, I'm an IT guy, and it's been a little while since I've actually done IT stuff, and I've never made any content on IT, that's for sure. But today, we got a whole computer behind me I'm about to start building. We're gonna build a computer live on stream today. It's nothing super fancy. It's not a high dollar computer. It's not a computer for me. It's a computer for a client. So this computer's actually for someone else. My computer's sitting below my desk right now. I mean, I guess I can show you it real quick. It's not the prettiest area right now. I kind of got stuff thrown all around it, but I definitely have never shown my PC on this channel. And oh yeah, it's definitely not pretty. It's got wires covering it right now. I kind of got stuff down there to get it out of my way of my room I'm working with up here. But yeah, let me grab this camera, because this is the whole point of this camera. It is portable. Oh my gosh, it's zooming so far in on my face. This is horrible. All right, yeah, we're going to be working up here today on my desk. Got my tools and stuff, got what I should need, and that is my computer, in case anyone's actually wondering. White and gray. My gosh, it looks horrible on this camera. This camera for sure is making it look horrible. But either way, this is not the only camera. Let's check out these other cameras. First off, I got this even worse looking one over here. You can see me, but it's very laggy. Does not look that great. But it works. It's just going to be a positional camera, so you can see me from the side, see what I'm doing over here. Because for the most part, I'm going to be doing everything right here on this desk. Hopefully my audio is going through fine too, but irrelevant. Now, we want to check out this other camera I have. This one. My main camera you normally see is actually facing straight down onto my desk right now. You can see everything I got on the desk pretty clear. I got my mouse pad, that's basically it. It's a little bit dirty. I guess I could have dusted it off before, but yeah, you were able to see exactly what is happening here on my desk. And just for a little bit of fun, I went ahead and took all of these cameras, gave you multiple angles, so you can see from multiple sides all at once. Just figured I'd have a little bit of fun and do that. This camera right here is just not that good, especially with the background and stuff, but you know what? I'm still don't know if I'm going to be standing during this most of the time or if I'm going to be sitting down. Normally I sit down in my videos, but I very well may be standing because of the nature of what I'm doing. I may be standing a bit. I also probably am going to have to move this microphone further back, but that's why I have it set up where it's at, so I can actually bend it backwards. It does not sound as good back here, I guarantee it, but I can push it further away from me. I'm sure I got a little bit quieter, but I got to do it to be able to actually reach what I'm doing on the table up here. So yeah, we're going to get started in a minute. The PC we were building is, let me get this closer back to my face so you can hear me better right now. PC we're building today does not have a graphics card. This is going to be using what is called an APU instead of a CPU, a central processing unit. It is the main part of the computer. It is what actually tells the computer what to do, pretty much, your processor. And today we're using an APU instead, which has graphics integrated inside of it. Now I think they're actually calling it something else, not an APU anymore, but we're technically using an older gen one, so it is still an APU, I believe. But yeah, we're not going to be installing a graphics card. This computer is not for gaming. This is actually for a business related computer, so it's not going to be super high spec or anything. It's not anything super cool, but we're going to set it up. Let's hope it turns out good. I also am not installing the hard drive today. The hard drive, I got a few drop frames I'm seeing. Hard drive will be installed later. It's a very simple plug-in. I'm gonna run the cables and stuff. I'm just not actually gonna plug in the drive. I got a drive I could probably grab real quick just to plug it in and show you exactly what I'm doing. It's an old PS3 hard drive. I know I can grab it real quick. Maybe I should do that. Go and grab that drive real quick just so I can install it, and I'm not actually gonna even use it, so it just to show you how to do it, I guess. But in general, we're starting out with the case. The case is what everyone is going to see, so it's kind of important, but I didn't want it to be flashy considering this is for a business computer, so it actually looks pretty plain but still nice at the same time. The biggest thing is it doesn't have a glass side like most people like. I'm going to turn back on the music for everyone else because I can hear the music. Let's get music in here. And I'm probably going to have to take my headset off at some point when I'm doing this because I don't need to have it on. The only thing I can hear is the music, really. Either way, go ahead and grab the actual case. You'd like to see it? See what the case looks like? This is a... Yep, I definitely need to move that microphone. This is a Fractal Designs Meshify C. This isn't the C, this is the regular. This is a Fractal Designs Meshify. Very nice case for the price. I don't know what camera to show you this on. All of these, this one's too far zoomed in. This one's just graphically horrible. And this one is nice, but it's just a little too close. I don't really have a way to move it any backwards. Either way, it's got a nice mesh front panel for airflow and stuff. Sides, basic plain black sides. Just giving you a little 360 of it. Back, plain, nothing too fancy. It's exactly what you expect to see in a case. Other side said plain black. The top has a little mesh on the top, little mesh panel, which I'm actually going to be removing right now. Get this out of the way a little more. I'm going to be removing this panel right now. It is a dust filter, pretty much. It is there to keep stuff out of the case. I'm going to be moving out of the way right now. We are going to set it to the side. By that I mean I'm just tossing it on my bed, because I do not want to damage it during this process. You can scar them up a little bit and stuff. That just doesn't look that great, so you want to try to protect that until the computer's actually put together. Either way, this is the case. 2 USB 3.0 on the front, no USB Type-C, basic power button, no cycling button, headphone, microphone jack, and nothing too special. You can see that right here. 2 USB 3.0s. They aren't even 3.1 or anything better. Basic 3.0, power button. It'll probably light up fancy, right? Microphone, headphone, basic reset button. It'll power cycle the computer. Either way, not too much to learn about the case. We'll go ahead and take one of the side panels off so you can see the inside. This is the main side panel we're going to be working with anyway. I'm going to set this to the side. Here. This should be good. Hopefully it doesn't fall. Either way, as you can see, let's move you to this main camera again. Yep, there you go. Yep, you can see nothing too fancy about the case. It actually... That's worrisome. Hopefully this came with some standoffs. I do not have any standoffs. Uh-oh. That might be a problem. I can't tell if this has the spots to screw in. I hope this came with standoffs. I may actually have to get some standoffs, and I may have to cancel this. That's worrisome. This may not have standoffs to actually install. Normally cases just come with them. Hold up, it's probably in the box. So they normally come in the box, but a lot of times they come pre-installed. Most higher end cases will probably come pre-installed. Again, this is a cheaper case. So let's check the box. I did take a peek at this already to make sure it had everything, and I believe it had standoffs. I actually don't. Yep, here's the standoffs. Yep, we got our standoffs. If you don't know what a standoff is, it is these. I don't know if these are brass. What these are? Light's a little bright, I guess, to get these up close, but they are basically what keeps the motherboard keeping it from getting too close to the case, so you can actually screw into the case. It's basically its own separator in that sense. Let's see. Let me get the case out of the way right now. Just gonna take it, sit on the floor beside me. We're gonna sit back down. Okay. What we have here, these are not your case screws. What are those? These will be for the motherboard, actual motherboard screws. Is there anything that actually labels these? Okay, what do we got here? 3.5 drive. So these are going to be for your hard drive, solid state drive, whatever you're installing into the bays. We have. So these are actually ones for the motherboard. No, these are the 2.5 drives. Which one are the motherboards? These. Hold up. No, these should be the ones for the motherboard. I'm very confused right now. Those shouldn't be. Okay, those are ones for laptop drives. These are the motherboard screws. They look so similar. It's hard to tell. Power supply, which we will toss that over near the power supply. We're not gonna worry about that right now. Let me get the mic a little bit closer again. Yeah, these little screws should be the main ones we're needing. These will be what actually is going into the motherboard. So we're gonna install those once we put the motherboard in, after we put the standoffs in. I don't think there's anything else I need to show. So we got these standoffs and the tool to install the standoffs. It's been a long time since I've actually installed standoffs myself. They're basically always installed, pre-installed. Let's see. In this camera, I don't know. It's not gonna focus on it because my light. I'm gonna turn off my light, but let's see. The camera can see this. It is. Oh my gosh. Whatever. It's a little. The screw that goes into the case. I'm not gonna focus on it. Whatever. Screw that goes into the case, which then you screw into from the other side with your motherboard screws. That's what actually holds in the motherboard. Let's put this back up. I really hate that this song is in this playlist. I do not like its message. I do not agree with that. Okay, either way, we got the box for all these screws. We are not gonna need it anymore, but I'm gonna go ahead and place these screws back in there, the ones we're not using right now. Also to the side, and let's go ahead and I guess we're going to have to take the motherboard and put the standoffs in, see exactly where they're gonna go, put the standoffs in it, because most cases like this, let's see, I gotta switch the camera, come on. Most motherboards like this, trying to get it so you can see it. There's multiple different types of like motherboard sizes, different form factors is what you would call them, like ATX, micro ATX, mini ATX. There's different sizes you have to worry about, and this should just be a standard full-size ATX motherboard. So I don't know what the actual layout is for this. I can take a guess that it's going to be these top three and one of these two. I don't know the point of this screw. This looks like it may be too high, but it may actually match up with the motherboard. I'm not sure on that. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and grab the motherboard so we can find where these standoffs are gonna go. There's why I take off the headset, because I can't hear it right now. Let me switch back over to the multi cameras. You see me walk over here. We get our motherboard. Oh, got the user guide. Got a user guide to this case. I don't really want to look at it, but I'm kind of interested if it has the standoff locations marked. We're gonna check that. Let's see if it actually marks where the standoffs need to go. But anything about standoffs? Oh gosh, I don't know if I want to look through this whole thing. I don't need all this information. I just want to know about standoffs. It's trying to basically teach me how to build a computer. I don't need this. Anything? No, this... Wait. It's kind of telling me them, but yeah. Okay. Whatever. We're gonna put this to the side. I don't think I'm gonna be using it. But... Well, with the music back. Now it's quiet. Okay. We're going to start by installing the standoffs. I don't need this thing. Whatever, toss to the side. Place the motherboard separate. Okay, the standoff installer tool should just hook straight into my screwdriver. Seemingly fine. Yep, that slots perfectly. I don't have a magnetized screwdriver. It's like slightly magnetized, but it's not enough to hold anything, so I may have a little bit of trouble doing this. We'll see. We're going to start with the top corner. Go and install the standoff. You need to be careful not to over tighten these, because you can over tighten them. They will you're going to start stripping out the tool or your case. So should be all three of these. Oh, starting to cross thread a little bit. Got it. Don't want it cross threading. So this whole stream will probably take an hour. That'd be my guess. Maybe a little bit longer. So this is not going to be a short stream. I'm doing this all the way through. Okay. It'll be a tedious stream, that's for sure. Okay. Get this fan cable out of the way. I am curious of how I'm actually going to run that cable. And by the way, I don't have a good screwdriver or anything. Don't ask me about its brand. It's literally cheap. Very cheap. Nothing I recommend. And going to be here. I don't understand what that is for. I actually need to check. That's the same height as a standoff, so assumingly it just is a tab that'll lock in where the motherboard needs to sit. Speaking of which, before I put in the motherboard, I definitely need to remember to actually put on the side panel, the back panel, whatever you want to call it, the IO shield. Yeah, I need to remember to put that IO shield in, because if you forget that, that's a pain to put on. You literally have to take out the whole motherboard again. Okay. We only got 2 more standoffs to put in. This should be the correct spot for a normal ATX motherboard. I think for the most part, a lot of this has been standardized, and you actually don't have to worry about it here as much anymore. Okay. Alright, we got one more. One more. I don't know how well you can see what I'm doing. Oh my gosh, I should move this camera to here. Oh my gosh, it's not great. Oh no, standoff. We're just gonna place this over here. Turn on my light. See what I'm doing? That was the whole point of me setting up this camera. Oh, gonna cross thread, I'll tell you now like that. So you can see what I'm doing. That was why I have this camera set up. But it can't always be in a good spot. That's the problem there. And also, sometimes I need more than just one hand free. And it's like flipping when it's doing that. That was weird. Okay. I don't think there's a way I can set this down here. If I could, that'd be nice. Let me see. Can I just prop it up against this? You see in the case? That's not gonna happen at all. That would be interesting if I could keep it right here. You can see in the case. Oh, dude, hold up. Is there a way I can do this? I got a little, not officially a stand, but it's what I was using as a stand. There we go. We're just gonna leave that there for right now, so you can actually see in the case. Okay, well, we're done with this little baggie. We don't need that. We're going to be moving on to the motherboard and installing the I/O shield. This is the motherboard. Inside an anti-static bag, you want these to make sure that you don't touch it with your bare hands and stuff, so you don't actually shock anything and hurt it. Which I will talk more about in a minute, I guess, when I actually start moving on to it. It's there to protect it. Leave it in if you're not using it at the time. It's basically what you need to worry about. Alright. We're moving on to the I/O shield. I/O shield. This is literally a shielding for your input and output on the computer. This is what protects your HDMI ports, your USB and stuff. It makes it so it's not literally just sitting out there. This covers everything that's not needed, pretty much. We're opening it. If I can get it open. Slowly coming apart. There we go. I/O shield. Toss it aside. I'm gonna have to be cleaning all this later. But this is your basic I/O shield. Has slots for your audio down here. This is probably gonna be the wireless interface. RJ45, Ethernet, your internet cable, USB, 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 USB. This is a PS2 port. This is old stuff, pretty much outdated, but used for USB, or used for mice and keyboards. Outdated for the most part. You're going to be using a USB for all of that. Probably HDMI, USB, USB, and HDMI display port, which is a newer style of display cable. It's kind of taking over HDMI, but at the same time they're kind of fighting. And then I guess this is a parallel. Is this a parallel? What is on this motherboard? This would probably be put for printers, but I think that's too small. What is this? Oh, that's a VGA serial. Technically that's not a VGA, that's a serial cable. Okay, 3 pin. I think it's 15 pin for your rows. And this is your BIOS flashback setting. I don't know how well you can see this, but this little circle up here in the corner is your BIOS flashback. That's if you have to install a BIOS update, which I think I actually will have to on this CPU that I'm putting in. So we'll see about that. Well, either way, this literally just slides into the back, which I need to line up correctly, and it's just gonna pop in. This is not the opportune way to do this. Not trying to bend that, but it literally just pops in place, and it should be good. Okay, everything looks clicked in. Now in the back computer, I mean, it's exactly what you just saw a second ago. This is definitely an odd place for this camera, but I can't like have it held here. And if I could have it held here, this would work, but it's just falling. It's not actually staying where I want it to be. Maybe I can set it down in the computer right now, up against the fan or something, so you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, it kind of works, but it's also in the way, and it fell. It fell. Whatever. I'm just using my phone for this. It's a camera. Does the job. So you can kind of see what I'm doing from the side. It's not perfect. It's not perfect, but you can kind of see what I'm doing. I don't think I have another place I could put it, really. Either way, the standoff should be in, and we are going to go ahead and place the motherboard. I'm debating on placing the motherboard right now or go ahead and running the power supply. I'd like to check the motherboard to make sure it's going to fit correctly, but the power supply would be pretty nice to run right now. Now I'm putting on what you call a anti-static wristband, anti-static strap, whatever you want to call it. It's made to discharge you from any sort of metal, ground you, make sure that you're not shocking anything when you touch it. If you've ever played on like a playground as a kid, or you still, I'm sure it still happens today, it's happened to me occasionally, where you're like walking around on something or like a little bit and you like go and touch metal and you hear that zap, you feel the zap on you. That zap is enough to break computer components. You need something to make sure that doesn't happen. And that's what you call ESD, electrostatic discharge, but you don't always feel the zap. Sometimes that zap will be there and you can't tell. So that's a dangerous thing. So this is why we have usually either anti-static gloves or a grounding strap like this. This is not the best one. It is not perfect. The best way of doing it is actually having like a mat to do it. You ground yourself to the mat, or some other way of actually grounding yourself. This way is not opportune, but it's what I got. It's what I've used forever. I haven't heard anything with it. So basically, you just need to, if you don't have one of these, it is best practice to go ahead and touch the case. Just touch metal. Make sure you're not gonna shock anything else. Either way, strap goes on the arm, and then you ground yourself to the metal of the case, which I'm gonna try to grab it here. This should be a good spot. I don't know what to do with this other camera over here. It's kind of just sitting there, but it's better than it being a black screen, if you ask me. So we're going to be moving to the motherboard now, or power supply. I want to check the motherboard first. We'll do the motherboard right now. That's what we're gonna do. We're moving to the motherboard. Got a wristband. We are going to move to the motherboard, and at this point, I'm going to switch back to this camera. I'm grabbing this motherboard. Got little tape on the back to hold it. I'm grounded already. I should be fine. And pulling out the motherboard, dropping the bag by itself. Now, looking at this, there's no screw at that bottom corner. I'm going to have to move some of these standoffs, it looks like. Let's check these. Oh, yep, this is a lot smaller of a motherboard than I thought it would be. Thought this was going to be a full-size motherboard. It is not. This is actually smaller. Trying to line it up. By the way, this entire stream is going to be based on the do as I say, not as I do philosophy. Do we have enough room there? Yeah, when I push it over, that should line up. I need to move this standoff. This standoff's going to be moved. Oh gosh. So we are moving some standoffs because this is not an all-size motherboard, and this is why I wanted to check it. So this is being moved to here. Oh gosh. I wish I had a nicer screwdriver, which I should be getting one soon. I'm just waiting on shipment. Okay. That standoff has been moved. This one needs to be moved now. Whoa. I could actually hook onto it. Again, these are not very nice tools. They do the job. Alright. Now let's see where our actual standoffs are. That one is going to be moved. Just get the motherboard out of the way. Sit safely. This one is going to have to be moved. And can this come out? This is not holding anything. This is literally just a tab. Okay. That is coming out. We do not need that. Let me I'll put this in a little bag. Come here, bag. Putting this in a little bag because we do not need this. I guess it wouldn't hurt for it to be there, but we don't need it. And this one is going to be moved to where that tab was. Okay. Now, I think we need one more here. I don't think I have another standoff. So you know what that means? That tab is going back where that was. That tab is going back. This is not going to be a standoff location. We're just going to use that tab. That is going to go there. And this should line up here. So that tab is going back. I assume that's for slotting it in correctly. It's not actually holding it. It might be able to stop it from shifting side to side, but it is not actually going to hold the motherboard down. I'm like stepping on my cable. So we're putting that back where it was. And these all should line up now. I'm double checking. I don't see anything that would be in the way. No. We're going to be setting this in here. All right. The IO shield is, I'm gonna push it into the IO shield, but I'm trying to double check all my spots, make sure everything's fine before I actually do that. Once it's in there, it may be a little bit harder to get back out, but it all looks fine. I'm gonna go ahead and prep those. Didn't need to, going to. Hopefully these are going to be fine to stay on there. I need to look at my, I don't think so. I think I'm taking these off. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Let me switch back cameras. I need to go take a look at my CPU fan, because that very well will be coming off. What we're going to be installing today. This box says Ryzen 5600G. That is a lie. That is not the processor that's going to be in there. I've already installed this in another computer. That is a bit of a lie. That is not what's going in there. But this fan is the standard AMD fan. I have another one that I was going to put in this computer, but it does not need as much cooling as that one would probably offer. So we're actually going with basic Ryzen AMD fan, which this doesn't have the backplate to it. I may have to use the other one. This does not have its backplate, and that is not the type of... You know what? The backplate's already going to be on the motherboard, isn't it? Oh gosh, I should not do that. I just thought about that there's thermal paste on this. Let's place that back in there. Thermal paste is important, and I have a tube of it. I'm gonna try to preserve that thermal paste. I got it on my finger. Can't see that. I got it on my finger. I actually need to get some to wipe this off. We'll use this thing. I don't need to be spreading that everywhere. It's very messy. I'm gonna put a few screws in the motherboard, I guess. I'm gonna go ahead and put it down. But I need to stand the computer at this point. I mentioned thermal paste. I have a tube right here. Basic Corsair thermal paste. Not the fanciest stuff, maybe not the best stuff, but it'll do the job. Switch back to this other camera. I dropped my thermal paste. Oops. Put this back where it was. Okay. I am not grounded right now. Let me go and ground myself again. And I'm going to just hold up the motherboard for a moment. This is not something you probably should do. This is not something you probably should do. It's set in the right spot. but I need to check and see if there is a plate on the other side of this, which there is. There is a plate that I can use. Okay. And it looks like there's already a bracer in the back, so I actually may not have to hold the other side while I put this fan on. We'll see about that. We'll see about that. Put that way down for now. So what are we going to do? Why do I have another standoff? Did I have enough? Oh, I didn't place that one, did I? I took that one out and then didn't place it. Okay, this is why we didn't seat it all yet. I still got another standoff to place in. Just need to pick up the motherboard and slot that in. It's there. I can see that it's clearly not there. Oh no, I did put one there. Okay, so that tab does come out. That tab is coming out. Let me see. Let me get this out of here. We do have a spot for that. This one needs to be moved. That did not line up correctly. This one is moving over one. I know you aren't seeing exactly what I'm doing right now. Just not the best way for me to do that. Guess I can pull back up this camera. Torch on. I will just set it there for a moment. I will pick it up in a second. Get back to the multiple camera angle. Okay. I'm just tightening in that standoff. And we have one more standoff to go in. So I actually am taking out this little tab. It fell through. Oh well. I'll grab that in a minute. Just gonna start that standoff. You're tightening it. Okay, what am I doing? Can I get it? There we go. Standoff is in. Now, the motherboard, these all should be lining up. We have this back plate on the motherboard that I was looking at earlier, that I was wondering if it was there. Why is this thing freaking out on me? Okay. That is what is going to be holding on to the CPU fan. Let me head back down. We're gonna go back to this. Okay. Now I am placing the motherboard in here, which I want to have all of my hands, both my hands. Let's check, make sure everything's gonna line up correctly. Fan out of there. Try not to put any force on anything. Doesn't need it. That is going to be lined up in a moment. If I pushed it in, it would all be lined up. I'm checking my spots, make sure everything is indeed lined up. I see the standoffs through every screw hole, so we should be good. Go ahead and push it into place. Well, I want to get all those actually lined up first. Okay. My grounding strap came off. It's fine. It's fine. We shouldn't have heard anything. Now, I'm going to be installing these motherboard screws. I'm going to go ahead and probably don't do what I'm doing, as I said. I'm putting them all on their own little baggie over here, but of course they could fall out. Again, probably don't do what I do, just do it as I say, you know. We're gonna start these. You do not want to fully tighten them, and you also want to do like a star pattern. You don't want to just put them all on one side first. So I'm starting these. I'm not tightening them all down yet. And as I said, I kind of have magnetic screws, a screwdriver, but it's not the strongest. So we are starting these, we are not finishing these. And we are going from, I'm going to hit this corner. We're going from different areas. We are not hitting one spot at a time, or Yeah, we're not just hitting one area all at once. You want to do it that way to make sure you evenly distribute the weight across the board. It appears we're gonna have, we may have enough. They may have came with an extra. No, we have exactly enough. Okay. There normally is not extras, but some companies like to give extras just in case. Okay. Now, I'm going to check the back of it before I actually tighten everything down and make sure we can actually see the IO in the back. Your input, output. You can see it. I'm looking at the camera. I'm actually not looking directly at it right now. But it appears everything is on fine. These tabs, it should be fine. The display port probably could be pushed back. Really, all of these could be pushed back. But there is a gap between it, so it's not that important. I'm just worried the display port will not connect based on how it's sitting, so I actually think I need to move that. I am going to loosen these and move it. I'm at a little bit of a different angle right now. We'll fix that. Put it back where it was. Yes, this is why I didn't tighten everything down. One of the reasons, at least. I can't really see that. I need to stand up. I cannot see where I'm trying to grab right now. Luckily, this light that I use for my camera is actually helping me see some too. I'm actually gonna move it a little bit closer this way. Yeah, we are going to have to bend back that display cable a little bit. Move this up some. But yeah, this is why I didn't tighten it down fully. But of course, you just want to make sure everything's set right before you do it. Since none of these are tight, I can really take them out in whatever order I want. But if they are tight, you want to evenly take them out in multiple areas. One on one side, one on another. You want to do it in like a star pattern. That is just the safe thing to do. Now, I'm not sure exactly how I want to run this fan cable. It doesn't really matter how well it's cable managed, but I will worry about that when it comes down to cable managing. I just dropped it on my foot. I felt it. Oops. If I could get it. I think we got all the screws out. Let me find where this just fell. Exactly when that said happened. It fell on the floor. Okay. Now, I'm going to move back the motherboard, and this display port is going to be bent up. I believe everything should be set right now. I'm going to go ahead and put a few screws in. I'm not going to put them all in this time. Start with this middle one. Not going to put them all in, but I'm going to put most of them in. Gosh, it's bending on me. Now, a lot of people, whenever they do builds like this, they pre-build the system beforehand. I did not do that. There's very much reasons why they do it, because they're doing it purely for content. And they want to make sure they get it right on the camera. I'm doing this live, so first off, if I mess up, you're seeing it. Second off, it ain't gonna be perfect. I'll make it seem perfect. Okay. Yes, that display cable is out of the way now. Everything is lined up correctly. We can access everything we need. We are going to lay this back down. I'm going to switch cameras back. And we are going to tighten everything down. Let me try to set this back up again. This camera, setting it back up. That's probably not the best spot. I actually can't see it yet, so we'll see in a moment. You know what? Seems good enough. Best I'm gonna get. So we're going back to what we were doing earlier. We are going to be placing these screws along the motherboard. Where did I just see this? There it is. Just placing them in their locations, not tightening them down yet. Being responsible. Need to be careful with them because, again, you can over tighten these, and that can not only hurt the screw or the thread, this literally can crack your entire motherboard if you do it wrong. I have seen this happen. It is not just a myth. It very well can happen. I have seen where people have broken their motherboards because they over tighten screws. Be careful, please, or get someone that knows what they're doing to do it. Okay. We should be good. Checking how much it was rocking. We are going to start tightening them down. That is loosely tightened, basically just hand tightened. The screws came out because it is slightly magnetized. It's not fully magnetized, but it's enough that it grabbed it. Going to snug that up. Not fully tightening these yet. I'm just getting them close. Said we were doing it opposite sides, snugging them up. I've already hit that one, but I'm gonna snug. Just evenly distributing it out. It's a best practice thing. You don't necessarily have to do it. I have seen people build computers that did not know what they were doing and really hurt their computer, or they didn't know what they were doing and it turned out fine. Like, it's a machine. You can easily hurt it, but sometimes it's actually hard to do. It's just, you need to be careful. That's all I gotta say. All these should be tightened up enough now. I'm just doing a quick like half turn on all of them. Quarter turn, really, not really a half turn, just depends on the one. Snugging them up. Not over tightening. But like, if you gotta put force on the screw, you're probably over tightening it. Very little force should be required to get them tight enough. And there should be no reason to like Loctite them or anything. You shouldn't have any moving parts in this. Just double checking all of them. Kind of getting my hand in the camera, I think, but okay. All of the standoffs are in place. The motherboard is screwed down. The next thing we should do is probably run the power supply. There is some other things we can do first, such as go ahead and installing the RAM. We go put the processor down. I do not want to put the CPU fan down until we actually have all the cables plugged in, though. So we're actually going to wait on that. Cable managing, probably worry about later. This will go to a chassis fan. Let me push this back some so I can actually lean in on this. Grab my phone. This cable is a chassis fan. Normally this one will sit in this area somewhere. Normally, a lot of times they're all labeled. If not, you need to check the motherboard's manual. It should tell you. I'm looking to see if I see a chassis fan of 1, 2, or 3. We only have 2 fans right now. This one over here is the CPU header. We need the CPU fan there. These would probably be system fan. Okay, these are labeled system fan, not chassis fan. Okay, so that one's actually going to stretch over to here. This one is going to go here. So I think this is actually going to go up here, out of this, they call it a garment, rubber garment. It's going to go out here, probably back in over here to plug in. Oh, over here. We'll see. We'll see how that runs. I think I'm gonna go ahead and push it through the back though. So need to untwist this. Let me set this back over here. What was it? See? You can see it somewhat. All right. I'm going to untwist this, which I was actually going the other way. Was I? No, I was going the right way. Just in a bad spot. What is happening here? There we go. Okay. We pull off a little tie. We will worry about doing our own tying later. I need to get this out of the way. Well, I'm going to be switching back. I just told it to switch. Oh, switch sides. Can I place this on this box? No, I can't. Let's put this back where it was. Okay, whatever. I'm getting all caught up on my cabling. Hi, how you doing? Let me get this box out of the way. I don't need it, but it does have the CPU still in it, so I can't toss that yet. Oh, that's not gonna work, is it? How did I have this set up early? Okay. Well, we are going to go ahead and stand up the computer now. Can't see it the best in any of these cameras. There we go. We're going to be pushing this cable up through that, so I don't remember what the actual word for it would be. So this rubber piece called I think it's a garment, but we're going to be running it along out of the way, hopefully. We'll actually worry about the cable managing of that later. Is it gonna have to go below? It may have to go down this way. We will see. That should be fine where that's at now. It's not in the way. Ooh. But it does not have the length to reach that, does it? This may be a tight pull. It's very close. Can we get this? What side do we need? Keep that side. Cable managing is going to be tight on this one, I think. Okay, it is slotted. It's a little bit tight in the back. Not exactly how I would like it. But it'll probably be where it's going. And for anyone watching, feel free to ask questions. This isn't just limited to me talking. Sometimes I need stuff to talk about, you know? Trying to push this into the correct. We good? Okay. I need to replace this, but I actually can't replace that until I'm putting on the CPU fan. So I can go ahead and take this off. We also have a lot of cables to run that are built into the case. These cables, let's switch sides. You can see where I was running this through. It is definitely not opportune. I will have to deal with this in a little bit. Whenever we go to cable manage, I will come back to that. It's not perfect. It'll do the job. Now, these cables came pre-set up with the case. This is pretty much where your USBs connect. Where USBs connect, this is where your power button, all this is set up, which they have. Okay, this is hard drive LED. Okay, yep. All these front side bus connections are very annoying to set up. They may take a few tries. For now, we are getting this cable out of the way. Don't really need that yet. And is this the fan? This is the fan. We need to get that out of the way also. I think I I don't think I'm gonna need to mess with any of this. They have ran already. It's not gonna be a whole lot for me to run in the backside anyway. All I got is power to CPU, power to the actual board. We're not running a graphics card cable. I will need to run one to a hard drive. It shouldn't be too bad. But for now, let's get all these grouped up and out of the way. Just trying to keep the light connectors near each other. Okay, so I have one that probably needs to go down here and one that goes up here. Need to look at the other side to make sure of that. Let's see. Where is my audio connection? Oh, there is a System 3 fan. Can I put this near me again? I don't think so. I need to move the case if I'm doing this, so you can hear me a little bit better. There is another chassis fan down here, but I actually don't need to do that. What we got? See one audio connection, but I don't know if that's the one we want to use. I actually think that is the only one. Several USB connections, but not the ones we're looking for. This is odd. It should just be the... That system one's worrisome. Where is that? I'm trying to figure out how you install the front side bus on this motherboard. This needs... I'm rotating this. Oh, got on it. Rotating this around. I need to get some light on it. Get to where I can actually see it, you know. Let's see where we're at. That is one of the USB connections, but that is not the type that we're using. I think that's actually for a Type C. And we are using a basic USB connection, which it doesn't have the actual normal connection for USB anywhere on this board. That may have been an oversight my part, because that is not the type of connection we need. These other USBs should work. They're not near enough pins for that. I don't know if this motherboard has a USB like that. I may have to get an adapter. I think I'm gonna have to get an adapter for this. That's not something I... Oh, it's right here. What am I talking about? It's right here. It's just they normally aren't bent up like that. Wow. That is so different. Okay. I thought I was going crazy. How's it going, Ryder? How's it going? I need to spin this around. Oh my gosh, this is not going good. I think I'm gonna have to leave that there. It is not wanting to come out, and that's just trying to move it on the board. That's fine. It's not the worst. Now we need to find our audio connection, which said should go below. We're gonna go ahead and get these cables out of the way. See where our HD audio is. Now, I know there's an audio on this side. Let me move this cable up. It's somewhere over here. I actually can't read it right now. A lot of these are just bare pins, so you really do need to be able to actually see them. Yep, that is going right over here. Can't really cable manage it the best. There's not really a way to cable manage this good. Let me get this. I'm actually going to use this to help me too. Let's see. Get my microphone out of the way a little bit. We have this one HD audio connection, which I'm trying not to put too much force on. It's just slowly seating in there. It's not popping in like normal. And that should be good. Oh, there is a spot over here I could run it. We will see if the motherboard will, or the power will allow that. That would be the best place to run it to get the cable up and out of the way. What we got right now, I need to run the front Where is it? I see USBs as a. Oh, here we go. The worst part about installing a motherboard is what I'm about to at least get ready to do. I don't think I'm gonna do it just yet. Let me get these out. Oh, you see these little cables I'm trying to push through. If I can't even get them, I'm gonna have to do this with two hands, because I actually cannot get those through. Set this back down where it was. No. There we go. Now I can't really see because I don't have the light anymore. Okay. We have these in here. And as I was saying, we got one more. These are the worst part of installing a motherboard. It's these cables I have in my hands right here. Those things are annoying. They make easy connections for them. I don't have any, and I'm not gonna use them. I always do it this way, and it's fun, because half the time they're flipped and they aren't actually set correctly. And that's not my fault. That's just different motherboard manufacturers not doing the same with the case. So we were running this audio cable separately. It's actually got a slot back here in the corner it can fit through. And the audio connection is quite literally what it sounds like. It is what actually controls all your audio in the system. Be good. Be good, camera. Okay. I think that should be good now. Cable is ran fine. I can pull it somewhat tight to cable manage it better. I have other cables I need to run still. One of these should be... I still need to run the fan connection. I'm looking for it right now. Where is it? Okay. We have this fan cable that needs to go... This was supposed to go up there. Huh. I plugged that into the wrong one. That one goes there. I literally pointed that out earlier, that that's the one it was going to go to, and then I didn't do it. Either way, the cable I have right now in the back, you can't see it right now, but it is going to go where I just unplugged that other one. So. That's good. Cable management still looking pretty fine back here. I'm moving my entire mouse pad every time I move this computer. I just realized that. Oh well. I'm not using a mouse right now anyway. I believe everything on this side is connected. I'm going to be turning this back around so you can see I'm about to adjust some cables back here. This one is pretty much fine. I'm gonna end up zip tying some spots on it, but I am going to take this whole bunch of cables and put them under this cable tie that's already there. Thankfully, they already added one in this place, included one. Little Velcro one, the Fractal designs. I mean, it's a Velcro cable tie. What else do you really say? That is pre-wrapped. It's gonna make that harder to do. I'm gonna have to see this myself. Let's see. Let me get this up. Light. Now I'm catching myself on this cable. Okay. This is already wrapped around the back. They have it fully wrapped around. Okay. I see what they did then. Okay. We may end up doing that a different way just for simplicity, but it really doesn't matter. I am gonna have to have my other hand to do this, so I'm gonna do this real quick. I'm gonna switch back. That was just at it. Grouping all these together. putting it back on itself. And we should be good. That's tight on there. Not necessarily the prettiest. This cable should have been ran behind the USB to make it look nicer, but it's on there. It's on there. I'm not worried about it. This side panel should never be taken back off. And if it does, it'll probably be done by me anyway. Okay. I think we're good on this side for now. Said later I might move this a little bit, but I don't think there's I don't have much room to play with. It's not long enough. Guess we're good on the back. I think it's about time we go ahead and run the power. We'll go ahead and run the power supply now. So I'm gonna move this to a different spot and place this on the back, on the side back here, so that I can actually spin this again. We have a block back here, which is where the power supply is going to go on. That's just blocking it so it can't go in. That's where you screw it into, it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and place the power supply in here and run the cabling to it. Yeah, let me go grab the power supply real quick. I'm back. I have power supply. Let me move the case real quick. Because right now it's not the star of the show. We're looking at a Gigabyte 750 watt power supply, 80 plus gold. Very overspec power supply. Very much overspec. Unnecessary. I could have got away with a 450 watt power supply, but at the price difference, at the time, I think this one was on sale when it was purchased. The difference between a 750 watt, like 80 plus bronze, and a 750, it was probably like 10, 20 bucks at the minimum. And I was like, if you care that much, save the money. If not, get the new stuff. Get the nice. Go and get nice power supply. You won't have to worry about it. It will not be the part that fails in the computer. Power cable. Cool. We actually aren't going to use this right now, so we're going to end up putting it back in the box in a second. This will be our power supply screws, which there were more over there. Zip ties that it came with, but this came with the power supply. I'm going to use the one that's in the power supply. I'm not going to use the one that came with the case, because it screws into the power supply, so we're going to do that. Now, this is our big clump of cables we got. We got some PCIe cables, some SATA cables. Could be. Pulling out my knife, we're going to open this thing. Very nice knife. M80 or M380 bowler, M390 bowler, M390 bowler steel. Very good steel. Very good knife. Expensive, but good knife. We don't need near as many cables as we got here, so a lot of these are actually gonna be extra. This cable is going to be. This is going to be for our drives, our hard drives, our solid state drives. Which one should I put this on? I don't know how well you can see it. These are for daisy chaining power to like hard drives. They don't take much power, so you can run them off the same cables. This end is going into the power supply itself. The rest of these are all going to hard drives, solid state drives. You really only ever need one cable for these, unless you have some very beefy ones, because then you can definitely use some bigger ones. But we should be good with just this. I'm going to run one of these and we'll be fine. So one of those is going to be taken out. This boy, this beefy cable right here. This would be your 24 pin with a +4. The +4 is slotted in there right now. And this side should be 24 also. I guess that's a +6. So is that 18 + 6? Either way, this is your main power to the motherboard. This is going into the power supply, and that is your motherboard power. This is what powers your whole computer, is this. Setting that to the side, but we're going to use that. Another one, PC, or I guess it would be SATA connections stuff. This would be for just same exact thing I said earlier. This is for running your drives. We're not going to need this one. We're going to set this one to the side. We're not using that one. Again, this camera's horrible. I already know it is. It's just a camera. It's there. Look at it if you want. It's probably a little jarring. It's slow. I said that earlier. This one's a little bit better. This is my best camera. The one up here. It's the one I always use. This one we are actually not going to need. This is your PCIe 6-pin or 6+2, depending on the end. These are for your graphics cards. We're not using a graphics card in this computer. As I stated earlier, we are building this on an APU, not a CPU, so it has integrated graphics. We don't need this. This computer will probably never have a graphics card, so don't need it. This connection is Molex, and what is this one for? It's a basic 4-pin. This is probably for LEDs. Bunch of Molex connections. I don't understand why we would need this one. This is not one I think we would need. We're ignoring this cable. That's probably for setting up RGB, because it did have a connection that looked like it'd be a 4-pin for RGB. This one, same thing. 6+8 or 6+2 8-pin connections, PCIe. This is for your graphics card. Not using one. What we're looking for right now is this one. Either this one or the next one. We'll see. This could just be another PCIe, or this will actually be for your CPU. Either one of these are PCIe. They technically can be used for your CPU, I believe. One of these is going to the CPU, so we're using this one. We have an extra cable. We don't need. Now, just taking all these cables we had, dropping them in the bag. Don't need these. These are going to go back in the box with the power supply. Power supply. This is what it sounds like. This is what powers the computer. Without this, you get no power to anything. The power supply is pretty smart. This got a shield over it right now, but it's pretty smart. It's not... Today, they're not very dumb. How these power supplies work, these new ones, you see the connections in the front. Right now, they're covered up. I will take that off momentarily. But power supplies, first off, if anything's going to burn up or get electrocuted or something, it's probably going to be through the power supply. So that's one of the reasons why you need a good power supply. Don't cheap out on a power supply. One of the important parts of the computer you should not cheap out on. Because if this is bad, you might start breaking everything else, and then everything else is going to be bad. So don't cheap out on that. Don't. Where did I put my... Oh, it's just right here. Putting this back in there, because that was another thing I didn't put up. Don't cheap out on a power supply, please. You will cause so many problems with the computer if something goes wrong. Not saying it will. Just know what you're getting into. Several things about this power supply I've noticed so far. It's very odd on a newer power supply. Don't need this right now. We will put it later. Gonna move this out of the way. Gonna push it back. This is that little tab from earlier. I don't know what to do with it, so we're just gonna place it in this standoff bag. Putting this in the standoff bag. How long? I've been live for over an hour, so yeah. I said it'd probably be an hour. It's probably gonna be close to 2 hours. So. Okay. This power supply. Can I move this closer to my mouth again? Hello. This is not the way I should have done this, but whatever. This power supply does not have a switch on the back that a lot of power supplies will have. This may be an outdated thing. But there's a switch, right? Not this power switch, that's separate. There's usually a little red switch that says 115, I think it's 220, 240. I'm not European. Either way, it switches it from US power to European power, or pretty much anywhere else in the world that doesn't use 115. We actually don't have the option to switch that on here, so that's annoying, but it's fine. Okay. Okay, we're good. I'm gonna go ahead and tear off this protector on here. We do not need it. Obviously I can't use it if it's there. By the way, if something goes wrong with your power supply, I was talking about this. Do not open your power supply if you think there's a problem with it. Do not open your power supply. Do not open your power supply. I will keep repeating that. Do not open your power supply. There are screws up here to take apart your power supply. Do not open your power supply. Especially if it's been connected before, which they probably tested them at factory, and so it's probably been connected before. Don't open your power supply. They hold power. They have capacitors in there that will hold power, that if they want to discharge that while you're near it, it can kill you. It can electrocute you very quickly. Do not open a power supply. Don't. There are professionals that can do it, that they will do it. I've seen it happen many times where professionals do take it apart. They can do it. If you know what you're doing, be careful. Know what you're doing. Don't take it apart if you don't know what you're doing. Either way, this is going to slide in the back. Normally you actually have to slide it in from the front, but with how this one's made, it can slide in from the back. What am I hitting? There we go. It's in. It's actually floating around freely in there. I'll worry about this cable later. Right now, let me get this back out of the way. Right now, we need to screw on this plate in the back, which I don't have a way to grab it from this other side. I need to put that plate back on the back so we can actually screw this in. Let's see where our pinholes are. One in the bottom right. One at the top, one at the right. Hold up. It should be like this. That looks correct. We're putting this back on where it was. If I could line that up properly. Okay, side's on. This side's going on. I think. This other side may not be going on correctly. Yep, I'm getting it. Okay. That is on. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this down. I'm gonna tighten it down once it's actually fully together. But those motherboards, or these screws I was talking about, we should plug in right now, but I'm actually not gonna put this in yet. I was just thinking about this. I'm going to run these cables first. That can save me a lot of time, a lot of trouble for sure. It will definitely save me from a lot of trouble if I get this set up first, but while I'm able to move the power supply. Some people in a oh, you good? Some people when they're actually building a computer, it's actually not a bad idea to do this outside the computer. Like when the motherboard is not even in yet, go ahead and run all your power cables, run all these cables before you even put the motherboard down. Can save a lot of time with cable managing and stuff, and you know it's exactly everything's running. I'm not doing it that way, but you can. This is a more classic way of doing it, you could say. And this cable is going to bend straight back, and this is your 24 pin that actually is powering the motherboard. I can line it up correctly. Is this gonna have to be flipped? Hold on. That's flipped. That's different. Okay. Should be down. It's in. Okay. This cable is going straight out the back. That is your main power to the board. Important. Next, we are going to go ahead and slot in this. We're not doing that one yet. We need. I put up a cable on it. I messed up. I said I didn't need a cable. I did need a cable. Put it up. It's the last one on top. I just put it in that spot, so I thought I didn't need it. There we go. I put this one to the side because I thought I didn't need it. I do need it. I said I needed it. I already pulled it out saying I needed it. It's just I moved it and didn't realize where I had put it. Okay. This is a PCIe cable. This is going to our CPU. This is what's powering our processor, our APU in this case. But it is going in this pin at the top. Can you see this anywhere? No, you can't. So I'm spinning this around so you can see it. I'm going to go ahead and lay down the computer. Okay. Torch. There we go. Okay. There is this 8-pin at the top up here. This is what I'm plugging this into. Trying to look at the actual ends. Trying to see which direction it needs to hook into. It looks like it's going to go that way. Yep. It's going to go in that way. So when I feed it through... Okay. It's wanting to turn on me. I need to stand this back up so I can fix this. Let me stand back up the computer so I can do this easily. Here's the problem, is I can't really get to this without getting in front of every camera. I'm trying to get so you can see this, but what does that look like to you? Yep, you can't see anything I want you to see. We're just gonna flip this back where it was. Come on, switch camera. Putting this back where it was. There is this connection up here. It's actually very dark for me right now. But either way, it's in. It clicked in. Cable is up out of the way. Really nowhere else to run that. And it's hanging out the back. That's where it's going to be for now. That should be all we need to run to the power supply. We got the actual motherboard connection. We got CPU connection. We have nothing else we need power for. Normally you would also run a power cable. You would run a PCIe connection because of a graphics card, but as I said, we are not running a graphics card in this computer, so I'm actually not going to do that. And I did not mention this. Hold up. Let me get back to the side of the case here. Something I did not mention earlier that may be asked is we are running 2 fans in this computer. As I said, this isn't like a gaming rig or anything. It is not going to need a whole lot of air movement. It's going to be fine how it is with airflow. We have one fan in the back pulling air out. I can already feel it pulling air a little bit. We have one fan taking air out of the computer and pulling it out. It's throwing it away from the computer, trying to get all the hot air out. We have one fan up front. Let me switch. Let's do this. You can see this. Okay. One fan in the back. So it's pulling air out. One fan in the front pulling air in. And with this being a mesh front, this is actually like a foam. I'm curious about that. It's probably just for a filter or something. That's probably what that's for. I think this should, there's a few screws. I can actually take this whole front off, but I'm not going to do that. But yeah, one fan pulling in from the front. There's not 3 fans like a lot of computers have. My computer is a 3-fan setup and one in the back. But this is going to be pulling fresh air into the computer, and one in the back pulling hot air out. So this is bringing cool air from outside. This is taking out hot air. This is what you would call a positive and then a negative setup. Some computers run positive and positive, some do negative and negative. Depends on how you want to set it up. All can work, but the standard way of doing it is one positive or a positive side and a negative side. Doesn't really matter. Works either way. As long as you don't have conflicting sides is really what matters. Because you can have a positive here pulling in air and a negative here, and then they're just fighting each other. For the most part, you want a positive and a negative. Sometimes a negative and negative can work. A positive can work. But in general, you want a positive and a negative to make sure you're getting good airflow. It is not ideal to have a positive and a positive because they're kind of fighting each other and you have all this air in there that's not really going anywhere. As long as you have a lot of mesh in the case, that's not that bad of a big of a deal because it can just get out in general because of all the mesh everywhere. But oh, come on. But if you have nothing but it's all entrapped and there's nothing for airflow, why is this? Oh, I'm pulling it because I'm wrapped around it. If you have a positive and a positive, it looks so much better on this screen than it does over there. A positive and positive will kind of be fighting each other unless there's some type of mesh or something to let the air out. If there's nowhere to let the air out, you're going to have heating problems very quick. If you have a lot of ports in the computer to let air out, it can work. It's still not opportune. Really, you want to set a positive up front and negative in the back to grab air and it goes straight through. That's the best way to do it. You can get good results from any way you do it. Just try not to overheat your computer. They can run in hot environments, but they shouldn't. Okay, we are going to be cable managing this back right now with what we got. So let's move back to this other camera setup. Okay. Now we have this connection is going to the CPU. How should I run this? I don't know how I'm going to run that, but it's going to have to get out of the way. Okay, let me move this. I'm going to sound a little further off again, but that's because I really am. I'm moving the microphone. Don't really need a grounding strap for what I'm doing, but better safe than sorry. It's hard for me to see at this angle, but there is the connections on this power supply that I'm going to actually connect it to. You know what? I may actually do this outside the computer and then just push it through. I think that's what I'm about to do. We're taking back off this little back piece. We're going to push this back out of the computer. It's going to be a lot easier for me to see and probably easier for you to see too, so this should be fine. We're taking this back out. There is these connections. This is where the motherboard connection is going to be, this cable. I'm going to go ahead and just feed it through the back. This cable may not be long enough for me to do that way. Yeah, it is. This cable is actually going straight into the back of this. Trying to make sure I get everything plugged in correctly. I don't really have much room to play with when pulling it out the back, but I'm trying to make it so you can see it. We're plugging these in. Next, we're going to be moving the CPU. I'm going to have a little bit more cable room than what it looks like right now. I'm just trying to get this up out of the way. Actually, I'm going to redo that because I want that fully separated. I thought I had it in a good spot. I do not. It just needs to be fully out of the way. Like pull these up under first. Same thing with that. Now that's separated. We're going to be plugging this one back in where it just was. Making sure they click in, power's good. CPU and PCI, plugging in. All right, let's plug that into the one next to PCI CPU slots. That's good where it's at. Now next, I actually need to run the SATA connection. This is going to be, it said, the power to the hard drive. So let me unwrap this. Okay. Now, one problem is these, with this being so easy to daisy chain and stuff, they're made to daisy chain them. It's just a long cable. You don't need this long of a cable. Not for where it's going. Either way, easy connection to go straight into the computer, or straight into the power supply. Same exact thing, just slotting it in right below the actual motherboard's power. If I could see where it's slotting, because I actually can't see it. Go. Okay. And we have everything to the power supply connected. Now I'm just going to slide it into the computer again. It's catching, but that's just because of these rubber pads in here. Okay. Going to put this back plate back on. Back where it was. This is only stopping it from coming out of the back. As of right now, it is not actually used to attach it yet. We'll worry about that later. I did put the fan on the bottom right. Let me double check that. Pretty sure I put the fan on the bottom. I actually need to double check that. So not, yeah, fan's at the bottom. Just double checking. I thought I had it right, but I wanted to make sure. Okay. Okay, we should be good. This probably gonna be cable managed back here. Not perfect, but don't know else how I'll do it. So we have a lot of cable here we don't need. So I think I'm actually gonna end up holding this up by with itself. Let's see. Because this cable is going to be just right here. There's another cable I need to grab. Need these. This is the actual data connection. This is your data cable for SATA. IDE is another term that's used for that, but anyway, this is your actual SATA cable. I guess this is technically IDE, SATA IDE. I don't know. I don't remember the difference. This is the actual data cable for your hard drive or solid state drive, whatever you're using. Very easy L connection. It is going to be ran up here and then down to the drive. So I'm going to go ahead and run that real quick before I run this. Not very hard to do either way, but I need to be able to see the other side. If you remember these angled cables where this USB connection went to, right here, that is where it's going. Is in one of these. I think I'm gonna put it in this bottom one, just to get it up out of the way. Let's get the L lined up correctly. We're gonna put it right here next to the USB. Looks very clean. That is a clean way of running this, so I've never seen that on a motherboard. That is a very clean way. I've just never seen that, so that's what got me really confused at the beginning about the USB connection. Either way, we're back where we were. I have another cable to cable manage now, so I actually think I'm gonna have to redo that. May run that through it too. I'm not sure. We need access to our drive base down here though, so I need to make sure I can actually reach these because right here, this is a 3.5 millimeter drive bay. This is what your desktop hard drive would use. You can also use these 2.5 millimeter drives in these. Normally there's these screws at the bottom. You screw directly through that, your 2.5 millimeter drive or inch drive will go in that too. That will be your solid state, or your normally SATA solid state drives. Anything 2.5 inches, that'll be laptop hard drives, PlayStation hard drives, anything that's not a desktop normally. But you can use those two in a desktop. They're not exclusive, they're just smaller. Sometimes you have bays in the back over here to actually place more if you want. We don't have anything like that on this computer. This is just where the drive would go. I don't have the hard drive that's going here with me. It's a solid state drive, but it will go in this. It will be screwed directly in through the bottom into the drive. Not hard to set up. And then the power, well, this is the data. Data and where's my power? Data and power will go directly into the drive, and that'll be it. Data and power go straight into the drive. They will just plug in up there. So we're gonna place that back because we're actually not using this today. I actually will probably install this tomorrow, but I'm not gonna be streaming that. It's not hard to do, it's pretty straightforward. But I need to make sure these cables have enough room to reach it, but also not be in the way. So I actually am gonna redo this. Going to undo this completely. Okay, that's all loose, that's fine. I'll worry about that in a minute. Why is this hanging up? I apparently pulled that back through. Oh, that I didn't. It just fell through the top. I didn't mess with it. It just was hanging there. Okay. I think I'm gonna stretch this to this. Should be fine. There's really no great way of getting these out of the way and still being able to access the drive. Sometimes the drives are just hard to get to in general. Really depends if the case has a way to route it. The biggest problem is we gotta deal with this amount of excess cabling now, because we have a lot of cable we don't need here, because we have 4 connections for us. We have 4 drive connections. We do not need 4 drives here. We're only going to be using 1 drive in this computer. So this really needs to be put up. How I'm going to do that, I'm not sure, because I don't know which connection I'm going to use still. I'm assuming I'm going to use the end one. So maybe I can manage it back here. I don't know yet. They can be a pain though. I want to zip tie them together either way. Let's just fold this up together, get it out of the way. I'm not doing it super tight. You never want to bend cables real tight. You just want to get it out of the way. So I have a lot here I don't need. So let's see. I don't want to bend these together to make them crush each other or anything, so I'm just gonna grab one of these ties that I've had used over here. This is a really big tie for this, but I'm just gonna use this tie. We're gonna tie this together and just get it up out of the way. Just getting it out of the way. Okay, this is together, not the prettiest, but ideally we'll just be able to shove it to the back, get it out of there. And now we have just the cable we need for power. Just gonna place that below it. It's all up out of the way, we're good. I think this cable's literally just... Still debating on this cable. This cable can be ran up, or it can really just hang there. It's not in the way of anything, but it doesn't have enough for me to go all the way out the edges. This cable, I'm gonna tie to this side, I guess, over here. But there's, maybe I can run everything up here. I don't know, cable managing can take a long time depending on how meticulous you want to be. And as I said, this doesn't have to be done perfect on my part. Does not have to be done perfect. It's fine. It's really just how much I want to get it right. Because this is not going to be opened. It's fine. It's fine. It could be complete rat's nest and be fine. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have at least some sort of cable management with it. There are these little spots I can tie off at the bottom. I might tie this other one at the bottom so it goes nowhere. I think I'm going to do that. I got some ties right here I can use. Let me see if I can use this one. I got a pre-cut tie right here that I'm going to use. Just slide it through. This is only for this one cable, so it doesn't have to be a super big tie. Come on. This is a reason you can use hook or something. You can actually hook it first to make sure it gets its angling proper. Okay. Again, I have a zip tie running back there. I'm just gonna tie it. It's gonna hold it off the bottom. It's gonna be up and out of the way. Okay. If I could get it, I maybe shouldn't have used this pre-cut one. This pre-cut one may have been a mistake because it's so hard to get. It's so hard to get this one lined up right. With a little bit of space I have. Come on. It's not pushing through. Wow. What is happening? The zip tie is not working. This is a user problem. This isn't the zip tie's fault. I got it. I got it. Just need to tighten it now. I got it started. Okay. It's tied up. It's out of the way. I'm gonna cut that later. I'm not gonna cut it just yet. Just in case, for some reason, I need to do something with it. I'm not gonna cut it just yet. This is going to be tied up here and here. I don't think there's gonna be a way I can tie that top one off. And this is just gonna be wrapped through here. I actually don't need to zip tie that anywhere. This one's gonna be zip tied here though, and up here. Maybe not up here. We'll see if I can fit one there. What am I listening to? It's a royalty-free playlist. Let's see what song I don't even know what song that was. That was Interlinked Shelters was the band. Oh, Interlinked Shelter was the song and band. I don't know which one was which. Just a royalty-free playlist on Spotify. So, I've tried many royalty-free playlists, and half of them have gotten me copyright, so that's what I got. Isn't it great when something that says royalty-free isn't royalty-free? Yeah. It happens. Okay. I got some zip ties over here. Can I use this pre-cut one again? I had some pre-cut one. No, I'm not going to use pre-cut. I'm taking a full zip tie then. I'm just going to take this zip tie, and I'm actually going to go ahead and bend the end. That's kind of one of the reasons I have this loose end right here, is to help guide it. What part are you zip tying? Well, right now I'm zip tying the CPU power cable going to the power supply. I'm just gonna hook it into the back of the case, which I actually think I can reach it better if I take this guard off. This brace I was talking about earlier, that is bracing the back of the power supply, or the heat sink for the fan on the motherboard. If I take that off, I can actually reach this better. Let's see if I can hook this first try. I don't know if I should hook it from this side. I don't know if I'll be able to. I think I'm gonna have to hook from this side. Let's see. I can run this first. Basically just force it through and bend it myself. Alright. Now I just need this cable under here. And zip tie. Not gonna zip tie it too tight. It's really just gonna hang there for now. I'll cut this and move it in a little bit, but I want to be able to reach this one for now. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it's turning out, that's for sure. We still got more to do though. We're not done. We're not done. Oh, need another zip tie. Did I use a pre-cut on this one? No. I'm not even gonna bother with the pre-cut. Just hooking this. And how's the camera set up? How do you like that? Hopefully it's in a good spot. Cameras are good. You're only seeing my face on this one though. You want it down there so you can actually see? I think that's gonna be better. There is this one little spot I'm gonna hook through here. Grab it, pull that down, and I'm going to zip tie it. I want to pull it too tight because I want that to be able to make its bend still, because it kind of has to, without hurting it. Crank that down. That one's a lot tighter than the other one. That's fine, because just ratcheting it. Those are going to be cut in a little bit. Well, I appreciate the fact that you think that. I should have to bend that back, I think, to set this. Yeah, that's good. Oh. Okay. Let's make sure I can still put this back on. I can. I'm gonna go ahead and place it for now. I actually think I'm gonna have to taking that back out though. What is this catching? Yeah, I took a little while to try to see what I could do about a camera setup, because I didn't want to just do a one camera system. I didn't think it'd turn out that good. Where am I? Why is it not screwing in? I'm getting it? I'm getting it. Okay. 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 Now, I'm going to run these cables back here. After that, I'm going to screw the power supply in. 4D PC tutorial. That's what we do here. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing more content exactly like this. I enjoy building PCs. It's a hobby of mine. I like to do it. It's expensive. You don't always have people that need PCs built. Oh my gosh. No. Why is my phone not on mute? I'm getting a call. Hold on, I gotta take off my camera for a second, I think. Yeah, I can help give advice on PCs and stuff, but I gotta unplug this for a second. I gotta text someone. Why are you calling me? I was getting a phone call and I don't know why. You can see that I'm live, dude. I don't know why my phone was muted. I thought I muted it earlier. Okay, I know one of my cameras is down right now. That's gonna have to be it. Just gathering all these cables together, and I'm going to wrap this around its. That's not as pretty as it just was. It came out from that. That came out from one of the hooks. That may be a pain to get back. Okay, it's a job thing. Okay, let me get this camera back up. I gotta fix this one spot real quick. Oh, I thought I almost had it. Whatever. Get back. Let's get it back on. Let's get it back on. What? Where did I take it? Okay. Please deactivate that glitch. Support. Yep. There we go. We're back. Back on this camera. You can see it again. I am trying to hook this Velcro back where it was. There's a little tab it was hooked through, and I'm trying to feed it back through it. But it is hard to get at this angle, and I really wish it just didn't come undone in general. You making fun of my shirt, huh? Is that what's happening? I just like to dress nice, okay? This really is stuff I wear all the time, so. And this is a flannel, thank you. No, I like dressing like this, so. Be upset if you want. Oh my gosh. I can't get this. Wow, I am making this so much worse. There's one piece of Velcro I'm trying to feed through. I'm trying to feed this through. Am I getting it? I think I'm gonna have to grab one of my tools here. I grabbed for something like this. Little pair of tweezers, basically. No, not all flannels are plaid. Upsteady spaghetti. No upsteady spaghetti. Oh, I'm getting a little bit of frame drop, looks like. Do I have a tux? I mean, yeah. I'm not wearing a tux. How am I gonna do that? You see... You know what? I may have to grab one of my other pliers. This is not actually gonna work. But there's a little hook right here that I'm trying to connect it to. I need to grab it. I was sitting right now, I need to grab it. I actually need to set back down. Oh my gosh. Try to set back down the camera. Try to see if I can grab it. Oh, nope, I didn't get it. I may have to do this later on my own time. Because I cannot get it. Sup, Stason? What do you want to learn? Call me Papa, huh? You want me to lasso this? You know, I've actually lassoed stuff before. But it has been a long time since I've used a lasso. Yeah, I'm from the south. I've used a lasso. What's your point? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Stason, you joined very far back in this PC build. Why is it showing my face like that? It's supposed to be the other side. Everything it takes to build my own PC. Dude, that's gonna be a lot, first off. But I just started I messed up. First off, you joined very late in this build. It is almost done. We have a few more things to do. Let me do a quick spin on the computer. We've already gotten mostly everything connected. We've gotten mostly everything connected already. I do still need to set up what this is called the front side bus, the front bus. All these wires suck to put on, but it'll work. It'll work out. That's just gonna be some trial and error, trying to make the computer work. Didn't get your notification? Well, turn your notifications on. Everyone here should have their notifications on for when I go live. I mean, I've been live for 2 hours right now. Yeah, a mounted headcam would be nice, but I don't know how I would do that. So I'll just strap my phone to my head. All right. Well, I still need to get this Velcro set up. That's the last thing I need to do. And yes, I'm using my phone as a camera that you can see. Which, GoPro, yeah, that'd be nice. But yeah, right now there is one Velcro tie I was trying to cable manage, and I completely messed it up. And this whole thing is getting moved a lot. But right here, I accidentally unhooked this Velcro tie, so I'm trying to set that back in there to make the cable management look nicer. But as I was saying, this is taking me a while. I think I may actually have to redo that later on my own time, not do that on stream, because I cannot seem to get it properly. Even if I try to hook it, I'm trying to do this and let you see at the same time, so it's kind of hard. Now it's just bending. It's bending when it's going in there instead of going in how I want. I can't get it back through. Okay. I'm gonna try it for just a minute more, and then yeah, it won't be shown. It's not gonna matter. Let me get back on the other camera set up. Yep, it's not gonna matter. It's gonna be behind the case. Not a big deal. I know it's a problem, so I'm worried about it. So you know what? I'm gonna try it for just another second, and then I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna give up on it. Yeah, I will know. Man, yeah, people say I'm OCD. I don't think I'm that OCD, because I let a lot of stuff slide, but when it's something that I guess I'm doing like this is when it matters. If someone else does something, it's not that big of a deal. But you know what? Sure, you could say I'm as OCD as you want. I'm not gonna fight you over it. Also, I'm not getting this, so we're about to give up on it. I'll worry about that later. We'll worry about that later. I got the rest of this connected. Technically, I could just run a zip tie around that and no one would ever know besides anyone that looked. But try one more time. Let me just try to hold it with both my hands. If I hook it like this, will it work? Is this working? Oh my gosh, that's not working. Okay, this is the point where I give up. That's taking too much time. Let's get back to doing this. Over computer duty? Okay, you know what, sure. We'll go with it. Well, I'm just gonna do a standard tie off on this. I'm not gonna do it how was set up. It doesn't look as pretty that way. Doesn't look as pretty that way. But you know what? It's fine. I need to make sure there's space back here to actually get to the base. I think realistically it's fine. These cables are going to be used by the drive. I think it's good enough. I think we're good on the cable management. I'm gonna go ahead and flip it back. Yeah, no, I definitely didn't get it. Cutting these zip ties so I can get these out of the way. No one will see them ever again. By that I mean I think I put that too tight, and so I'm actually not able to turn it enough. It's fine. It looks much better than loose cables. I have, let's see, trying to make sure you can actually see it from every angle, but it's hard to do. Now that's just sliding on there. So when are you gonna go to New York City and open up the guts of my PC? Do I have a reason to open your PC? Is there a reason to? And also, that seems expensive. Okay. Got one zip tie down here to cut. Need to be careful, you know, don't cut anything I shouldn't. That's up out of the way. what could be better. I mean, cable management isn't gonna kill your computer though, so it's like, yeah, I could look at that stuff. I could tell if you told me your specs of your computer, I could tell you what would be your next upgrade, what you should upgrade. But it ain't that big of a deal, man. Like I said, if it's on the inside like that, as you just said, no one's gonna see it. Why does it matter? All right, time to put the power supply screws in. Basic screws, 4 screws. Okay. Just toss that with the rest of the trash. I need to kind of, I want to hold it, but I'm trying to make sure that you can see what I'm doing. But I would like to hold it from the other side while I put pressure up against it. See if I can do it. Yep, I don't have long enough arms, so I can't do it that way. Either way, there are 4 screws in the back of this power supply need to be connected. And they need to make sure they're not starting to strip out. There you go. Now you can actually see. And as I was saying earlier, with pretty much anything, you should not be going all one side at once. You should do it in a star pattern with any type of screw in a computer. Really, anything. My gaming PC is fine, but I definitely upgrade the streaming PC. Well, on a streaming PC, what you would need is RAM, your RAM and a graphics card. Those are your main parts. If you need storage, like you're actually saving your streams, you're gonna need, you know, good solid state drive. Solid state isn't necessarily important, just as long as you actually have the space. But solid state would make everything a lot nicer. I'm not tightening these all the way down yet, snugging them up, and then I'm gonna go back and crank them down. Which I really need to hold force up against it when I do that. So I'm actually turning this back so I can see it. You can kind of see what I'm doing. It's not the best, but I'm holding force up against it while I'm tightening these all the way down. And as I said, I don't have the nicest like tool set or anything. Don't ask about those. Okay. Oh, everything's seemingly fine. This is all tightened down. I'll go ahead and crank down these screws to the back of the power supply. This cover, shielding. And we are going to move on to installing the RAM. Now, I definitely can put a computer together much faster than what I'm doing, but I want to be able to show what is happening. Display it some, you know. Do I need to turn? Okay. Now I'm going to be. Wow, I just yanked that cable. I wish I had nice cameras, but I just don't. I feel like it just runs a bit slower. Your streaming PC, I mean, yeah, there's many things that could be that. Solid state drive could help. Processor, depending on what the processor is, may not be able to handle it. Graphics card really isn't going to make your PC run faster unless you're gaming on it or doing something graphic intensive. So more than likely, the graphics card's not the problem, it's just running slow. More than likely, it's either the processor or you need a better solid state. Which an M.2 solid state is perfect for any computer really today. Very fast. This motherboard has 2 slots, one right here for an M.2 slot. I think it's 2280 is the length of it. Has another one right here. We are not installing a solid state in this computer. We are, but it's a SATA solid state, so it's actually going back here at these drive bays. And I don't have it with me. It's actually in use of another computer right now, and I'm making this one take it. And I'll probably also install a 2 terabyte hard drive in this, which I also don't have right now. I don't think it's 2 terabyte. It may be a 2 terabyte. I don't think it's 2 terabyte. I think it's like a 500 gig or a terabyte. I don't think it's 2 terabyte now that I think about that. Either way, we're moving on to installing the RAM, so I'm gonna go grab that real quick. I have it like gaming SSD in the back as well. In the back? Like, do you have an M.2 installed, or is it SATA? Because if you aren't using M.2 at this point, you should upgrade. You really need to upgrade. Okay. Going back to how this was set up earlier, let me move this nice place. Now I'm going to try. You said you think it's an M.2. Is it a long, skinny one? Why is it showing my face? Why isn't this working on stuff? Okay. Is it a long, skinny drive, or is it a brick, like what would be in a laptop or something? Is it a big square, or is it a rectangle? Skinny rectangle or big and square? That's what we'll say if it's an M.2. So, yeah, it should be a M.2. Trying to move this. I had this earlier. Is that a... I don't know. I don't know if this is good at all. I got really no other way to set that camera up. And as I said, I really hate that this camera's slow. Not a good camera. But it's a camera. Okay. I just unplugged my headset. What am I supposed to do without my music? All I'm hearing is music from it anyway. I don't need it. It really doesn't matter. Big rectangle. What? Okay. Look in here. Look, give me 1 second. I'm gonna grab something real quick. Question is said drive that you were talking about, calling it a solid state, does it look like this? That is too bright for this to handle. Does it look like this? Is this what your solid state looks like? That's important to know. So that's to the side. This is a hard drive, really old hard drive. This is from a PS3. This is a Toshiba 500, no, was 60 gig? It's 120 gig. 120 gig from Toshiba. Old PS3 hard drive. It's probably 5400 RPM. It's slow. Not needed at all. I don't even see the RPM on this. It doesn't say the RPM. Why? Okay. It doesn't say the RPM anywhere on here. Either way, not something we care about. I'm not using this. This is just an example showing you. This is a 2.5 inch drive. This is what you would use in a laptop or gaming console normally. So PS3 uses this, PS4 uses this, and the PS5 uses M.2. It doesn't. This is not an M.2. This is a 2.5 inch drive. This one's a hard drive, not solid state. But this is what I was showing. We can connect to this, which I'll show how to do that. I knocked down that camera, whatever. Oh my gosh, I'm tangled up again. Keep getting tangled up. But this connection, you plug it into the back. There is the power connection, which will plug into this L right there. And you can also take your data connection. Hold on. That data connection is held up under the drive bay. Same thing. 2 cables, plugs right into this. You can install it in the bay. It's good. Okay. Now, let's get back to what we were doing. Again, this is a basic drive. Not using it. No need. No need. It plays back where it was. Let's see my ceiling for a minute. Oh my gosh, I keep getting caught up on my... Getting caught up on cabling over here. Laying back down the computer. I'm not sitting on anything. Alright. Is that fine? I think it's fine. Like I'm putting back on my anti-static wristband, and I'm going to be opening. Why did that fall? You're kidding me. No, go lower. Whatever, that's good. It's not exactly where it was. I don't know what happened to it. I guess I bumped something I shouldn't have. So I see the computer. Okay. We have these slots on the motherboard. These are what your RAM goes in. RAM is random access memory. What RAM does is whenever your processor pretty much needs to load something, whenever you're trying to say pull up a game or something, and it's memory that's going to be accessed frequently. So basically it pulls stuff from your hard drive and loads it into the RAM. And the RAM is basically very fast storage that the processor can grab from and load very quick if it needs to. RAM is very important if you want your computer to be fast, but you can also go very much overboard, and in today's specs, it's not hard to go overboard. Doesn't mean you won't get like extra FPS or something by having a nice set, it's just unnecessary. Now we're opening up the RAM, and this is 16 gigs of DDR4 3600 megahertz, or mega transfers as some people say. The important thing here is what a lot of people don't know that aren't computer people or IT people is these actual slots are ran to what used to be the bridge. You would have the south bridge and north bridge, not really important anymore. But they're slotted in channels. It's basically, it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 and 2 are on one of the channels, and then 2 and 4, or 3 and 4 are on a different channel. And they each have their own bandwidth pretty much. And so ideally the standard, what you should plug your RAM into is slot 2 and 4. To keep them on separate channels, but also have them on, well, dual channel is what it's called, dual channel. Because you want both channels of bandwidth going through at the same time. So you make sure your slot down here is lined up with your pin. I think these are 288 pin. I think that's what DDR4 standard is right now. What does it say? Doesn't say a pin. Doesn't matter. Oh well. Either way, you need to make sure that your actual slot is lined up. Which it is. And press down evenly on both of them. You're gonna have to use a little bit of force, but it shouldn't be too bad. Both these little tabs lock in place, and you're good. It's in there. That ain't coming back out. It's good. Should be connected. Next, we have to go into slot 4. As I said, each of these slots are set to have their own bandwidth. Pretty much 1 and 2 are on the same line, and then 3 and 4 are on the same line. So you want to use either 1 and 3 or 2 and 4, but the standard basically is 2 and 4. Those are the main ones you should be using. You slot them in and push down evenly. Don't put too much pressure. You may have something misaligned, but it does take a little bit. As you can see right now, mine is not wanting to click in. One side is clicked, the other side is clicked. This is in 2 and 4, and this is what you would say is dual channel memory. Now, my recommendation for this, if you're building a PC or speccing out a PC or something, try to always go for 2 and 4, but if there's any room for you to upgrade in the future, if you're building a PC for like gaming and you're on a little bit of a budget, and say you can only afford, just say you want to get 16 gigs of RAM, but you're running on a little bit of a budget, it's not a bad idea to go and get one stick of 8 and put it in slot 2 and leave it there for now, and then later get another one and go to slot 4 to be 16 gigs of RAM. I would not recommend getting a one slot of 16, because then you're not running in dual channel memory, and you will see a lot of performance you're leaving on the table. You really should run 2 different slots. You will be losing a lot of performance if you're only using one stick of RAM. You really should try to dual channel it. It will work, it's just not opportune. I wouldn't recommend it. Either way, we're moving on to the CPU now. Hopefully I do not have to use any of my thermal paste. I do have thermal paste right here in case I need it. As I said, different, just basic Corsair thermal paste. Nothing too fancy. There's definitely higher end stuff, but this does the job. It's what I've been using for a while. Works just fine. I really like Corsair. Corsair's a good brand, that's for sure. Now we're moving on to, oh, I knocked down that. I need to quit doing that. It's just I don't have a proper stand for my camera or anything. We are moving on to this processor. As I said, this case shows a 5600G. This is an APU, not a CPU. But what we have here is a 3600G that we are installing. Or 3400G, not 3600G, I'm sorry. This is a used CPU. It is a used CPU, doesn't matter. Oh my gosh, I keep knocking that down. How am I even doing that? I might be pulling the cable with my foot. I think that's what's happening. Okay. This is a used CPU, but I'm the one that originally had it used. Like, I set it up in the original computer. I'm the only one that's touched it. I know it's a good CPU. I just took it out yesterday. It's fine. So I know the CPU is fine. There's no problem with it. But on the CPU, at least on AMD's Ryzen, I think it's the same exact way on Intel. I haven't installed an Intel CPU in a very long time because, I mean, for the most part, I think they're pretty much irrelevant. They're still good. You can get very good Intel CPUs, but for the most part, I've only really built gaming PCs recently. And AMD has just had the market for a while. For what I understand right now, Intel's newest CPU is very good at gaming. I think it's a 13900K or something like that. It's supposed to be very good at gaming, beats some of the Ryzens, but I'm still going to stick with AMD. They've just had a good track record with me. I approve of them. Either way, there's a little bit of CPU thermal paste on here. I could get up, but it's just on the outer shell. It's not on the pins. The pins are all fine. Nothing wrong with the pins. But there's a little arrow in the corner. You need to make sure you line that up properly. If not, you can really bend your pins and you will destroy your processor. And on the motherboard, there's a specific slotted out piece where the arrow is. That is where that lines up. But there's no force or anything. I'm going to take the processor and drop it straight in, lining up all the pins. And it can't move around at all. Oh, well now, okay. Yep, I'm making sure it can't move around at all. It's sitting in there properly. It's not, it's like very slightly rocking, and that's because all the pins are sitting in there properly. So, now, this, I believe this is what's still called a ZIF connector, zero insertion force. And so, you just push down on it, locks in the tab, it is in place, it does not go anywhere. I can pull up on it, I'm not going to, but I could pull up on it, it should not be able to come out. Technically, with enough force, these will let them come out. Like if you have a heat sink, like such as this one, which I once again am going to have to install. But I need to take the back out of this one first, I believe, because I have to take off these bars. These are not compatible. This already has the right amount of thermal paste supplied and set up like this from the factory. I didn't do that, so I'm hoping to use this and not have to put my own thermal paste in, but if I have to, I will. I have thermal paste right here I can use, but I'm going to have to stand up the computer, so let me get this out of the way. Let me switch this back around. What are you doing? Switch around. Okay, setting this back up over here. Let me get this out of the way. What? I wish this didn't have to be a cabled solution, but it does. We're gonna stand back up the computer. The processor's in there. None of these cables are connected still. I know that's on purpose. I don't think that'll hold properly, so I'm actually gonna take this brace off of the back. It has a brace on the back that I was talking about that seemed like it might have been able to hold the back, but I don't think it will. These screws I am going to have to take out. This is where the actual CPU fan socket sits in for the heatsink and fan system. And once again, I'm going to evenly take it apart. Not a big deal on what this is, but it's just a good habit to get into no matter what you're taking apart. And these screws should just come out. Should already have let loose. I'm not yanking that out. No, it didn't. A little more. Okay, that one's loose. Just by itself. And I'm holding the back plate on right now with my other hand. I am holding pressure against it right now. Because this back plate will just fall off. I do not need that to happen. Really? Come on. Okay. And if you see, there is these 4 pins right here that was just screwed into. It is loose. I literally can take this off. It just comes right off. Come on. So bright right there because that's where I have my light. But I need to hold this up against it while I put the CPU fan on. It's not the easiest to do, especially because I need to make sure I have a proper mounting solution, I guess, for this. It needs to evenly sit across where it needs to screw in. So how are we going to do this? Maybe a pane. This is not always easy to do when you have to do it this way. Well, I'm going to try to line this up. All right, that should be sitting correctly. We're going to go ahead and just see if we can hand tighten a little bit. I don't think I can. No, no hand tightening here. I really just need to get one of them in place. Yeah. I can already see where it was hitting the... So what I'm going to do here is hold pressure against the back, lean over the board, and I'm going to screw one of these partly in. I need to do that to make sure it's getting a connection on it. And we are good. It has now grabbed it, so I can stand it back up. Well, that one actually didn't grab. Thought it did, it didn't. The bottom one's grabbed though. I gotta lean that back over. You gotta put some pressure against it because these are springed down. It's not grabbing. Okay. Let me lay this back down. I don't like this bracket mounting style. This one is not one I prefer. Should be on? Okay, okay. Back to what I was doing. It is securely on now. I made sure it's securely on. And now we actually have to tighten down all 4 of these in a star motion, as I was saying earlier. You have to push down a little bit before they actually start threading because they are springed on. This one, I don't know if that's catching or not. Oh, it was not catching. It appears to be now. I think. Actually, cannot tell if that's catching or not. It's catching. Okay. Look. Just doing it a corner at a time. Slowly, that is. I'm not cranking one side down. You need to evenly put pressure down on these. Well, my magnetic screwdrivers came up. Now, technically with this video, you could call it a tutorial if you wanted. You wanted to build a computer, you could follow my exact steps. You can do it yourself. But telling you why you're doing everything, hey, you're doing it, maybe I'm not the best at that. You actually probably should learn about it yourself. Okay, these all should be down properly, and therefore should be, yep, enough. The thermal paste should be spread properly on the CPU. It looked like it was going to be fine. Yep, they're all down. Okay, I'm going to lay back down the computer, and I'm going to put this back plate back on. Y'all already saw me do this earlier. This isn't anything special. Literally 2 tabs in the back, and then 1 screw. Nothing super special. I mean, if I could line it up, it would be nice. Problem is, I'm actually not lining this up right. It's so dark over here. Oh, there we go. See it now. Okay. I got this like back brace back on. Is this for mounting hard drives? You know what I was talking about earlier with a 2.5 drive? I actually think that's for mounting solid state drives. You know, I guess any hard drive would work, but that looks like what that's for. It may also be for an RGB controller. They may just have the same exact size, but I think that might be right. That looks like where you would put a hard drive or a solid state. So you can set them out back here if you want. Interesting. Interesting. I talked about how there wasn't any right here earlier, but it does look like there are some up here. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Okay. That's a little different, but I do not need these brackets anymore, so I'm going to put them to the side. Okay. Okay. And now we are almost done. We are almost done. I've been doing this for 2.5 hours and we're getting close. Let's see. Right now we have the CPU power, which is going to go up here to the CPU fan. There's really no good way to cable manage this. I will try it this way. I have done this many a time and it works. Sometimes the fan isn't long enough though. Come on. Hard to see that. I think that's in right though. It is. It's hard to see. Yep. And that cable's just back behind. Doesn't really do much cable managing, but any cable managing's more than none, I guess. So far, it's looking pretty clean. I don't have much to say about the cable management. I mean, I'm doing it myself, so I'm trying to judge my own work here, so it's not. You know, you judge my work. I don't judge my own work. Either way. These should all go here. This is the front panel. So I need to hook all these up now. I don't think I have anything else to do, really. I need to hook up these, and I think I'm almost done. Getting some of this trash out of the way. About stuff I need over here. Okay. Now I need to wire these up. This is a pain, and I don't know if it's something I can really show on here. Let me take this camera for a minute. Down here. Okay. Down here, there is these connections. It's hard for you to see. You can kind of tell what it says, but I need to set up these little pins in exactly the right order, positive and negative. That should tell me, actually this tells me more on here than a lot of them do, so that's not bad. That shouldn't be that bad. Okay, like this HDD LED should go right here. That is a hard disk drive LED, light emitting diode, in case you are wondering. Power switch, positive and negative. This isn't marked positive and negative, and there's no lining on this, so I assume it's just going straight up and down is fine, where it was. Reset switch doesn't say positive or negative anywhere on this, and this is where a lot of problems come in, because I can't tell exactly what needs to go where. I can tell where it needs to be plugged in on this one, thankfully, if they have it labeled. Not every motherboard has it labeled, but I don't know. There's no way for me to tell. That's 3 pins down there. I don't know which ones it needs to go on. I'm assuming the left 2. I don't know that. I should look at the manufacturer motherboard to look. I should look at the motherboard's manual. That's what I should do. I'm assuming that's positive and negative, correct? Yep, positive and negative. Negative will be on the right, positive on the left. This is going to be hard to do with one hand, so I'm actually going to switch back to this. See what I'm doing. Negative is on the right. Yep. Thankfully, this one isn't that bad. I just accidentally unplugged it. Some of these are way harder than others, and I'm hoping I got this one first try. I will say, the newer ones of these are so much better than the old ones. Working with really old computers on these, so much worse. These should all be good. We'll pull these cables back some, so they are look a little bit nicer out here. I'm just pulling them back through. Don't want to pull them too tight because I don't want them to start causing issues. But as of right now, I think we're done. Probably a little bit more can cable manage, but I think we're at the point where we need to turn it on and see what happens. I have a monitor right in front of me. I can grab another one to set up here. I'm assuming I can just use an HDMI to this. I'll probably be absent for a second when I'm doing this. Go ahead and take off my grounding strap. Okay. Everything looks fine. I think everything's set up right. The power button is what we're gonna have to see in a moment. Whether this is wired right is if I hit the button and nothing happens, then this needs to be switched. But the LED looks right, but I don't know if the actual switch is right, just because of how they're not labeled on here right. They never are. So at this point, I am going to run this power cable and hook up this monitor. I'm gonna hook up this monitor behind you. So I'm actually gonna be off screen for a minute. This monitor right now is actually hooked up to my computer, which isn't even on right now, so I'm just gonna use its connections. But I'm going to plug this in. I will be back momentarily. I can still talk to you, I guess. You just won't see me. Oop. Don't be hitting buttons, headset. Okay, I'm gonna plug this in. Another thing. This is a wireless motherboard. Wireless motherboard. Comes with its own, well, wireless NIC, network interface card. These little antennas are just gonna screw straight in the back over here. Doesn't matter which one. Just gonna connect them both. Just gonna put them both up, I guess. Technically, they're not pointed in the correct direction, but it really doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter. And it does matter if you're setting it up in your place and stuff, but this isn't gonna stay here, so I really don't care exactly if it's set up properly. Okay. Wiring up the computer now. Plug in the power. Okay. I really don't want to rerun my mouse and keyboard, so I don't think I'm even gonna worry about that. I'm not gonna worry about my mouse and keyboard right now. I'm just gonna leave it how it is. Grabbing an HDMI. This HDMI is going to be run straight to the back of the computer. We will get a display whether I have a keyboard and mouse straight up or not. It'll just give an error. It'll give an error saying no keyboard found, which is fine. I can do that stuff later anyway. I plan to. HDMI 1 is connected. Okay. Power is connected. My monitor is turning on because it realized something was connected, but of course there's no signal yet. Okay. We have the moment of truth. We're gonna turn this to the side so you can see the side of the computer. Now, if there's issues, there should be these LEDs at the top right, which, come on, kind of showing the kind of not. There'll be LEDs up there that will tell me what is going wrong if something does go wrong. But we are going to try it on this oh, stop spinning on me. We're going to try it on this monitor. I'm just going to hold this up and we're going to see. Moment of truth. Let's click this button. Well, let me go to the back and flip the power switch. Power switch. No lights that came on or anything. Let's hit the button. Spinning. We got power. We got power. I'll keep you over here for a minute. You can also kind of see the motherboard. But you see the screen though. It's spinning. Nothing on the monitor right now. But I may need to do a BIOS update for the motherboard. So if there's a problem, that could be something that's causing it. That's why there's no display. Is I need to do a BIOS update. And if that's the case, I don't think I'm doing that today anyway. We're getting a VGA light, meaning, oh, nope, now it's moving to boot. This is the first boot, so it's may have some new stuff going. Yeah. Trying to set up. We have a boot light on. And nothing from the monitor yet. I'm pressing buttons on the monitor, so it was on display port, so it was not even set to HDMI. Come on. Let's change this to HDMI 1. See, oh, we have BIOS. We're in the computer. It's working. BIOS, the basic input output system. Nice. CPU 3400G with 16 gigs of RAM. That is correct. The RAM is showing 2133 speed, which is not correct, but that is something I'm going to do later. I'm going to go, I don't know this BIOS, this is something I'm gonna have to set up, but I'm gonna go into my memory, I guess, and set up XMP. Oh, there's XMP profiles up here. I'm probably just gonna click one of those if that'll do it. It'll do a basic overclock, and the RAM speed will turn up to 3200 megahertz instead of 2133. And yeah, we're good. We're basically done with this computer build. Turn on this light. Check out the motherboard. It's nothing fancy, no fancy lights anywhere. It's a basic motherboard. It's a basic computer. But you know what? Man, this thing doesn't work good at all. You know what though? It looks like a working computer to me. So we did good. We did good. I got a lot to clean up in here, that's for sure. I got a few more things I could run for cable management purposes, but side panel is going to be on most of the time. I'm going to try to get back to fixing this Velcro piece over here, but I think it's about time I put these side panels on, and we end up closing this out. Let's put the side panel on. See if the reset switch works. Actually, I knocked that down, but reset. Where's it at? Reset. Oh, it turned off. Reset switch did work. We have some type of blue LED in the front of the computer. Don't know what that is. Nothing special. But there's no hard drive connected. We can't boot into Windows or anything. I'll end up having to install Windows separately. I got my own Windows installed and everything. We'll be fine. But yeah. And I can definitely see through the front of this panel. I can see through the front panel. I'm seeing the screen. But yeah, I'm pretty happy. Pretty happy. It's almost 3 hours long. That's fine though. This is what I had planned to do today. Build this computer. Putting the side panel on. It's in BIOS. It's fine. Oh, advanced settings. I didn't see that. Yeah, I'll be going into advanced settings. Right now, the motherboard temperature is 30 degrees Celsius. CPU is at 33. Which just has no load on it right now. It's not running anything, but 33 is fine. There's literally no problem with that. That's running cool. It's got air. I can feel the air pulling out the back. I can feel a little bit of air pulling in from the front. We got both fans running. Yep, I see the fan spinning in there. Really hard to see. I doubt you'd be able to see anything though. But we tighten up these screws. Where did I put my screwdriver? We tighten up all these screws on the outside, and like I said, we're done here. Normally I don't tighten these down because I plan on opening them up myself later, but it just depends on what the computer is. This computer's not mine, so I'm tightening all this down. But my computer, like the one below me, these aren't fully tightened. There's no reason to. I open it all the time. Different reasons, whether I'm cleaning it, whether I'm testing parts and stuff. I use my own computer as my test bench. If I got something I want to try, I use my computer. But if there's a problem, I know that I can fix it. All right. Well, definitely got a little bit heavier, but still got its little wraps on it and stuff. Yeah, I'm moving this on purpose though. It's still got its little film on the front to peel. I'm leaving that for the owner. We'll put the fin back on the top, a little magnetic dust filter. I don't know if this button lights up. There may be a power LED thing maybe going wrong. I'll need to look at that. That may be the power LED. That may be a light up button. I don't know. I don't see any engraving on it like it would light up. But I don't know if this light in the front is the power LED. That may be an issue. I may need to take that out and look at that. But I'm not worried about it right now. I'll do that on my own time in a little bit. Zooms in so far. I have this camera zoom all the way down. Here, you want it in? Camera zoom is all the way down. It doesn't do anything. In the BIOS, you can see my little screen over here, whatever. Yeah. It's a computer. It works. Took me 3 hours to build it. I could have rushed through and gotten it done a little bit quicker. I wasn't worried about it. Back IO looks fine. Everything's seemingly fine. Let's get my mic out of here. Get out of here, Mike. Let's move this camera. You can actually, oh, just turn the light on it. Give you an actual look at the computer when it's fully done. Turn this, get any better? Yeah. You can see my full setup in the background. Yep. There we go. Let's switch this around. Turn off all light. I'm gonna flip back around. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm gonna go ahead and put all this stuff back up. And, about to set my actual setup back up here. This isn't my desk. I need my monitors and stuff back up here. My mouse and keyboard and stuff. Yeah, I'm happy. Power switch. See if this turns off. That turned off. I'm assuming that is the power LED. Maybe wrong about that, but that looks like power LED to me, so I think we got everything right. I think we're good. So I'm leaving these peels on for the owner to peel off. Go and power off the computer, unplug everything. But that's it. We're done. Let me get my mic. Let me get my mic closer to me. Let's put this right here. How you doing? You doing good? It's we're gonna turn back. Not that one. We'll use this one. It zooms so far in on the computer, but I can see twice as much on my screen here. I don't know why. I don't know why it's doing that. Either way, I'd like to thank y'all for stopping by. It's 3 hours. It took a little while. Let's see. I'll put this one over here. Pick it up. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Thank you for stopping by. I ain't got much else to say besides that. Thanks for stopping by, staying with me here. Spend 3 hours your day with me. We built a computer for someone. See, this isn't mine. It's not a gaming computer. It's just a basic, cheaper computer. It's a pretty budget build, but if you slapped a graphics card in it, you'd be able to play some games, that's for sure. Not overspec. It's a little bit overspec, but I was given a budget. I followed the budget. This is about a $600 PC. For the budget, it's a good computer. No graphics card, because that was not a requirement whatsoever. So it's overspec'd for what it's used for. But APU works. It's got graphics. You slap a graphics card in there, it could run. I wouldn't recommend spending $600 on a gaming PC. You can do it, but it's not really worth it. If your budget is $600 for gaming, get a console. Don't buy a PC. It's not worth it. You're gonna end up having such a bad graphics card that your experience isn't gonna be that good. At minimum, look at spending $1,000 on building a gaming PC is what I would say. You can easily do it cheaper. Don't, especially if you get the used market, you can get it. You can get 500 below. But you just gotta know what you're getting. You can do it. You can do it. I know you can do it. I'm not saying you can't. But I wouldn't recommend going under 1,000 for a gaming PC. About 1,000, I guess. Depends on what graphics card you want to get, how what you plan on running. If you're running 1080p, you can go a bit cheaper. If you're wanting 4K or over, you got to have at least $1,000 put into it. That's not including your keyboard, your mouse, your desk, your monitor, everything to go with it. Like, I'm just talking the basic computer. $1,000 is what I'd say to spend on a gaming PC, especially if you want the new gen stuff, because this PC is just built on old gen. This is a old gen motherboard. Technically, it's not a AM5 socket. This is an AM4 socket, so it's old. By old, I mean it's old as of this year. Last year it was still new. CPU is actually a 3000 series AMD, so we're at the 7000 right now, so it's getting a little old, but for what it's doing, it's gonna be just fine. There will be no problem with it. RAM, it's DDR4. We're at DDR5 now. It's outdated. Wouldn't recommend. Even right now, today, DDR4, great. You will not have a problem with it. Especially what I just put in here, this Corsair Vengeance, CL16, 3200 megahertz, 16 gigs of it. Not a problem. It will run the games. Should not be an issue. But, yeah. As to say, the biggest thing that was over-spec'd in this computer is the power supply. It has a 750 watt power supply. Very much over-spec'd. I could have got away with like a 450 or 500 in this computer very easily, but at the point, the price difference was not worth it. It just might as well go ahead and get the 700 at the price difference. Not saying that's the case now, but when this was bought, that was the price difference. It was like 10 bucks, maybe 20 bucks. Like, it was not worth not go ahead and getting the 200 or the 750. Now, again, you can go cheap on that. You can go cheaper. You just need to know what you're getting, because your parts may suffer for it. You may have problems down the road. May not be right now. You just got to know what you're doing. But, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and end this before it actually hits that 3-hour mark. But thanks for y'all stopping by. I had this plan today. I'm happy with how it turned out. I didn't mess up a whole lot. I messed up a few times, but it's fine. It's fine. Nothing we didn't power through. Very happy with how this turned out. And, thanks for stopping by and hanging out here on Twitch with me. If I get the opportunity to build another computer like this, I'll try to stream it. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy building computers. It's fun. Sure, it took 3 hours of my life to do this, but I like it. I like doing the project. I like the end product. There's nothing else here I can think of that I need. Mouse, keyboard, monitor, hard drive, all of that is at the place it's going to. It's not something I have, so not something I need to worry about. It's still got some more stuff to do. I need to do stuff in the BIOS. I need to do stuff in the in the BIOS. I need to set up Windows on it and stuff, but the main computer, it's done. PC's built. But I'm gonna go ahead and take this whole thing. It's gonna end up moving over to YouTube. I'm not going to YouTube today. I'm saying this will be uploaded to YouTube. If you're gonna watch it back, see anything specific I did, I will be uploading this as a video in maybe a few days. I got one that will probably be going up in the morning. That was a stream from Halloween. I need to get on that because I actually still need to make the thumbnail for it because I haven't done that yet. But I had to download all those videos and edit them to make one big one. I may make some separate ones out of it, not sure yet. One big stream that's going to be uploaded, and this will be uploaded as one section too. One video alone by itself, 3 hours long. It's not bad. But I ain't got anything else to say. Thank you, beautiful people, for joining me. I'm heading out. I may end up playing something else today. We'll see. If I do, oh, I got an update, I guess, for y'all. My PS3 died on me. Not really the video to say this update in, but my PS3 died on me and was beyond repair. Was cost too much to fix. So my Demon Souls playthrough kind of got halted for now. I should have another PS3 set up and ready to do it. I may get to it soon. We'll see. But yeah, I went to stream Demon Souls like last week and couldn't because my PlayStation died on me. Yeah, it sucks, but it was an original PS3 from when it came out. Original PS3 with backwards compatibility, so it really sucks to lose that console, but I got another PS3 set up. We'll be good. So Next thing you see me stream will probably be Demon Souls, unless I got something else going on. But I'll catch y'all later. Thanks for stopping by and checking out this PC build. I very much enjoyed it, and I plan on doing more in the future, hopefully. They're just expensive to build, and I don't have the money to be building PCs for no reason. Catch y'all later.